live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So this is a fun little experiment. And, so the idea here is to give you guys some strategy. Okay, that is what I can bring to you is some solid strategy and give you things you can do yourself as a business owner to generate business. That is really what we're talking about is how to generate live inbound calls. So that's the most important thing when you're a small business owner is to make sure that you have enough of those inbound calls, appointments, whatever your business is. So I'm trying to focus more on, you know, uh, the strategies and give you the tools that you can use to, basically go out there and spend some energy to get some free leads coming in. But if you're a business who um, has more money than time, or you don't have the personnel to do the marketing piece, then you need to know enough about it so that you know what you're buying. Okay. And there are, the lead generation industry in general does have, it gets a bad rap, but probably for good reason because there are a lot of marketing agencies out there that will sell you something that doesn't necessarily produce a result for your business in any kind of meaningful timeline. So, uh, the things that we're going to talk about are things that you can do to produce calls right away. And I want to focus on things that will get you, the best return, no matter what industry you're in. So that means if you have a brick and mortar office or clinic, okay, um, the natural health industry is one that I've been, very passionate about. So really helping the natural health practitioners out there with their clinics. But I also work with a lot of service industry professionals who, basically they don't have a specific location. They work remote, or they work in people's homes, their home service businesses. So today, we are going to dive into just some more strategies and techniques. This is going to be a more of an overview video than rather than going deep. We've gone deep on a lot of different things, everything from the Google business profile and how to do keyword research and identify your target audience and all of that. Today, we're going to give you some basic uh, bullet points for places that you can begin to get your business showing up without breaking the bank. So hi Terry, how's it going? Thanks for joining. So I have talked a lot about the Google business profile because it is one of the most neglected properties I see online. And I also really want to discuss the importance not only of using that business profile, but of having a presence online. Uh, just it's so important. I was talking to a plumber yesterday in New York City, and I was floored because they're spending $10,000 to $15,000 a month on advertising, yet they have no presence online of their own. That even goes for a website. They have no website. They have no Google business profile where they can get free leads coming in. And, essentially what they're doing is paying a company to send them leads. And those are not even high quality leads, but they have to actually chase these people down. And the biggest problem with that model is that the minute they stop paying that company to drive those leads for them, their business stops. So what you really want to do, especially if you're going to invest money, invest in something that's going to keep producing business for you even after you stop. So that means, you know, search engine optimization and local marketing. And search engine optimization is what you or somebody does to your website to get it to show up on page one in Google. But this is a slippery slope. It's a dangerous thing to get into, especially working with a company that you're not familiar with, because search engine optimization is something that takes a long time to actually get your website to show up on page one in Google. But you know, you could pay a company hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars for that matter every month, and you could get from page 50 on Google on up to page one or page two or page three. Now, if you're on page one and you're in the top results, congratulations, you're going to get business from that. But if you spend all of that time optimizing your website for Google and you only get to page three and you get stuck, guess what? That doesn't do anything to help grow your business. So the Google Business Profile, however, is something that will produce a faster return, and it depends on the competition in your area, and it depends on the skill of whoever is optimizing that profile. But that business profile is the free profile you have on Google, and it works directly with your website to help you show up in Google. And even if your website doesn't show up, your business can still show up in Google Maps. And most of the people who are searching on Google Maps are like, they have buyer intent. They are looking for somebody, and they're researching to basically to make a decision. So they're at the higher levels of that awareness. They're ready to buy. So that's why I'm such a huge advocate of the Google Business Profile and working to get that showing up in Google. So it's not the only thing to do, obviously. We've talked about Apple. You want to have an Apple Business Connect profile as well. So that shows up in Apple Maps. Don't neglect that, because when somebody searches on an iPhone, they're using Apple Maps. Your business isn't going to show up if all you have is a Google Business Profile. So I do recommend getting Apple, getting Google set up, and yes, even Bing. Bing is becoming more popular now with their integration of AI. So we have a bit of an AI war going on now with Google Gemini. Don't know if you guys are using that yet, or Chat GPT and Bing. So we're going to talk a little bit more about AI and how you can use that to optimize your website and to optimize your Google business profile. But another reason why this is so important is, obviously, if you're alive today, you know that Google is the primary search tool that most people go to. They have over 90% of the market share in search. So just for example, I did a little bit of research on the keywords around naturopathic doctor, because they're the ones that they're the kind of doctors that I feel are the future of healthcare. So there are over 60,000 searches every month in the United States for the keyword term, or just the keywords naturopathic doctor. And there are a lot of variations on all of these keywords, and you can find out how many people are searching for them. But this is really important. It just kind of gives you an idea of how much business can come from Google if you are positioned right. Now, it gets a little more difficult when you get in a big metropolitan area. We're up in Maine. it's not too difficult to show up in the top results for your keywords. But especially in more populated areas, there's more competition. So you want to add to that business profile, and whether that's on Google or Bing or Apple, and you want to optimize it with your descriptions and your categories. We've talked about this ad nauseum, and I'm going to keep talking about it. And ultimately adding posts, just like you do on your social media profiles. You want to post to that Google business profile. You can even put videos in there. So when somebody finds it, it's engaging, and they're likely to either give you a call or pull up directions, send you a message, whatever. You can also get text messages through that. You can set that up. Okay, so optimizing your website for Google, it gets technical. So it is great if you can find a professional who can do this for you. However, it's not necessary. The thing with optimizing your website for Google is, really just adding content to it on a regular basis. Get a SEO plugin. The one that I like is Yoast, but there are several different plugins that you can use. And basically, whenever you add content to your website, whether it's a blog post or a video or something like that, it just gives you all the things that you need to put in order to optimize that article or blog post for Google search. So it will either it'll tell you to fill out your meta descriptions and help you get it to the right length. It'll help you put it, your keywords in at the right density or percentage of the content, so that Google recognizes the post as being relevant for those search terms. And links, it'll tell you to put in links that are both outbound. I would link to professional sources, a .gov or studies. Link to sites that are going to have some authority, and also link to link to other pages on your website. So those are just some basic SEO strategies. And ultimately, if you don't have time to do all of that, find somebody who can do it, who you can hold them accountable. You need to, as a business owner, need to know enough about search engine optimization so that you can ask the provider exactly what they're doing and understand that is what they're doing. So again, the search engine optimization doesn't necessarily need to get you to the first page of Google, but it can help you get your business profile to the first to the map pack, to the first 3 results in Google Maps. Okay. And yes, working on your website is going to help how your business profile shows up. All right, cool. So the business profile and the SEO on your website, those are 2 things. When you work on them, even when you stop, they're going to continue. They're working. There's going to be a residual effect. Your business will get traction with Google over time. And you do want to continue, because you can slip. You can get to the first page of Google, but then you can slide back because you're not active and you're not adding content to any of the properties. So the other thing to add, obviously, besides creating content that will go on your website or go on your business profiles, I think most business owners use social media, or they have like a love-hate relationship with it, kind of like I do. I mean, I don't consume a lot of content on social, but it is, most business owners know that you can get business from your social media profiles. But one of the things we don't really consider is that each of those business profiles links back to your website. So that's also part of an SEO strategy. So when you're creating posts and you're creating content that is going on your social media profiles, that, those posts can link back to your website, back to a certain page on your website. And that is another factor that Google uses to rank your website, is how many domains are pointing back to yours. So it's important not just to have your social media profiles pointing back to your website, but having all your business profiles pointing back to your website. And then if possible, it's always possible, but it is a lot of work, if you can create relationships with others in your industry, or other companies with some kind of authority online, and have them link back to your website. You can trade those links with other businesses. You can link to theirs and they can link to yours. So that's kind of a backlinking strategy. But one of the things that's really important about that is making sure that you have quality backlinks. You don't want to buy backlinks on Fiverr or something like that and get really low authority websites linking back to yours, especially websites that could be like spammy or something like that, because that's going to do the opposite of what you want to do. All right, so last thing I'm going to talk about, and we're going to dive into this more in a separate video because it's not necessarily free, is Google Ads. And it's not free at all, but this is a really tricky thing for business owners. And it's a tool that is super powerful. You can get your business showing up in search on the first page, so you can bypass all of that waiting for search engine optimization to work. Or you can so you can pay Google to bid on certain keywords. It's an auction type platform. You pick the keywords that you want to rank your website for, and you basically bypass all the SEO work, and you can show up on the first page Google if you just bid more than your competition. So this is tricky because there are a lot of ways to go wrong here. It's a very technical platform. You do want to, I would recommend finding a good partner who can has some experience in your industry and has can basically provide proof that they are able to bring in calls for you at a decent price, something that's going to return your investment. So there's a lot that goes on here, and the things that you can do wrong with Google Ads, and we see business owners do it all the time, is you can set up your ads perfectly. You can set up your bidding strategy, your everything can be set up just right, and you're sending them to a website that's not optimized for lead generation. And it's really going to hurt your conversions. And so with Google Ads, you're paying per click. And if you have 10 people go to your website without calling, you have a very low conversion rate, then it can get very expensive to generate those phone calls. But when it's done right and you can get a higher conversion rate, then it really can bring the costs down and you can get a solid return on investment. So, for example, a good conversion rate would be more like 30%. You have, say, 1 out of 3 people who go to that lead generation website actually enter in some kind of contact information. And this is where you maybe, instead of just waiting for a phone call from these types of campaigns, you can basically offer a some sort of a lead magnet inside of what we call a sales funnel. And so you can bring in 30% of your audience into a mailing list. Then you can keep in touch with them. If they weren't ready to make an appointment or make a purchase decision at that moment, you get to stay in front of them on your own property, which is inside email, and eventually bring them through the buyer, through the funnel, helping them become more aware of your solution to their problem, and essentially bring them into your business, whether that's your brick and mortar office location, dance school, or you can create a service industry relationship with them. Nobody likes to have to constantly be looking for a new plumber, for example. But if you can offer some sort of plan to stay in front of them, then you'll be able to become their preferred professional. And that's how you can grow your business, using Google Ads. So Google Ads, you have pay-per-click advertising, which will rank your website. You have local service ads, which will rank your Google business profile inside of Google Maps. You have Google Guaranteed, which is only available to certain industries, definitely the home service industry, which is more like a pay-per-lead model, where you only pay for every person who actually converts and gives you a phone call. But those are a few of the services that Google does offer. Okay, and we're going to dive into more of that later because there's so much to talk about there. But the keys here are really for the free leads. Work on your website, work on your Google business profile, or find somebody who can do that for you without breaking the bank, and make sure that you know enough about it so that you can hold them accountable to make sure that you know what they're doing. Don't just trust that they're doing something. Get reports. Ask them about some of these things that we've been talking about. I think I'll put together like a buyer's guide or something. So that's really the most important thing. If you're going to buy some of these services, you need to know what they're working on. You need to hold them accountable as a service provider for what they're doing. And this is what's going to really make a difference in your business. You're going to show up in Google when people do organic searches, and you're going to get free calls coming in. So one frequently asked question, and I'll leave you with this because I do have to run. I'm about out of time, but how long does it take to see results from lead generation with Google? With your Google business profile, if you're working on that and it's being done properly, and you have some sort of aggressive plan, then that business profile, depending on your competition in the area, can begin to show up within 30, 60, or 90 days. If you have a slower plan, it can take months, or if you have a lot of competition, it might never actually show up. So that's why it is really important to be somewhat aggressive and have at least a good, at least a weekly plan for addressing all the issues inside your business profile to keep it updated. All right. So with that, I'm going to get rolling. I want to thank you for watching. If you watched this far, go ahead and put in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from. Terry, I know where you're at, but go ahead and let me know what is, let's see, maybe you could just let me know what is your preferred method of marketing. What's worked best for you, whether it's word of mouth, we hear a lot of that, or if you have other tools or techniques that you've used. I love to hear what's working for business owners. All right, so I'm going to run. Hope you guys have a great day. Next week, I will dive into the Google Ads more, And we'll talk to you guys then. And have a great Thursday.